Hello, everybody. Welcome to an extra special episode of Wary with Cary, where we might do a sort of sidebar here, maybe like a sort of news segment, new idea, where I take a look at a YouTuber I used to watch and see what they're up to now. And this is the Critical Drinker, as I like to call him these days, the Critical Stinker. Now, I am not kidding when I say I did like this guy's content at one point. I still think that the video he made where he compares a scene from the old Ghostbusters movie to the 2016 one is really good and well done. And it doesn't have the really stupid bullshit misogyny that seems to be a running theme of almost anybody who criticizes the movie online. It just flat out lays why the old version just feels more fluid, more realistic, more funny, in my opinion. And there might be some more videos, like, I think he was overreacting a little bit, but the whole video he made where he was talking about how movies were being removed and talking about how movies can push us to be better and how that media defines us as people and art, shouldn't be sacrificed. I think that's a great sentiment. I do think he was kind of basically whining about nothing because it all started with a thing that supposedly a movie was removed from HBO Max back then when it came out like in 2020, I think. Then it came out that didn't even happen. It got put back on there, which is a mistake or something. But the sentiment I can agree with. I don't like the idea of art being taken down now, which is ironic because look at this title: "Bad Girl Canceled: A Sign of Things to Come?" Question mark. And before I get into the video, I just want to say, this might be one of my last videos on this FUBAR phone because I'm having trouble charging this phone. I only have one charger for it that fits the plug, fits the outlet for it, the connection, and it was on 60%. It wouldn't go past 60, even turned off. So this might be it, but that's fine because this is a FUBAR phone, and fuck it. As far as Critical Drinker, the last video I remember watching this guy that really made me, I was kind of not really looking at this stuff because I was starting to realize that maybe he was full of shit. Like, for one thing, I actually watched the Captain Marvel movie. I hadn't really watched it at that point. I watched it long after it came out. Like sometime in 2021, I kind of realized, like, well, this dude was just lying his ass off about this movie. He made up stuff that didn't even happen in it. Like, the whole thing about her being overpowered is ridiculous. She's not. She spends most of the movie getting her ass kicked. Like, anyway, I think saying someone's OP is a stupid argument anyway. Because, like, Goku and Superman are OP, and people love Goku and Superman, don't they? It's fucking stupid. They only make a big deal when it's a woman that's overpowered. So anyway, that was one thing. But I saw that he made a video where he basically simped for 10 minutes straight about Gina Carano and how she was a princess in Hollywood. Hollywood was her kingdom, and she got taken down by the evil villains, and it was so cringe. And like, look at this dude. Like, dude, lay off the booze. What are you talking about, man? Anyway, I also didn't really think his Birds of Prey review or critique or whatever you want to call it felt very bullshit. Or I think maybe it actually started with his Stranger Things free. I think it was it free? I think it was free review when he started shitting all over the show saying it was like feminist propaganda. It's so stupid. If anything, it's anti-communist propaganda, but yeah, he's not going to say that. But anyway, let's watch this drunk Scott talk about Batgirl getting canceled. And now I'm going to give you my thoughts. I'm going to try to be mostly positive. I'm not going to try to shit on him right away. I've seen a little bit of this, so I kind of know where he's going. But for the most part, this will be new. And I'm just going to say what I feel, though. So let's do it.
And generally pretended to be some kind of big shot at Tampa Bay Comic Con, which was fucking awesome, by the way. But all good things must come to an end, and after waking up in the swamplands of Florida with a dead alligator on one side and an inflatable woman on the other, or was it the other way around, I realised it was time to return to not-so-sunny Scotland and get back to reviewing the state of modern entertainment. But what should I talk about, I pondered, as I sat waiting for my flight and hoping I was airborne before the state police found that dead, alligator. Well, as it happened, fate stepped in at that very moment to...
Oh, wow, Drinker. Sounds like you might have your own hangover movie there that would be based on real life. Yeah, watch out there, buddy. You might have had a bit too much drink.
Provide me with an answer.
Here
say about Warner Brothers, unlike Disney Marvel, at least they're efficient with their stupidity. Now they're even cancelling finished movies before we can even see them. Honestly, give it a few more years and they're just gonna dump $100 million into a big pile and set it on fire. I mean, to the best of
Joker style. That was actually pretty funny. I give credit.
my
That's somebody
knowledge,
like.
this is the first time that something like this has ever happened. Yeah, plenty of movies have flopped and TV shows have been cancelled, and then you get weird anomalies like that Fantastic Four movie from back in the 90s that was basically just a low-budget rights retainer designed never to be seen. But this is the first actual legit movie with big-name actors and a real budget to get shit-canned when it's basically ready to go. Damn man, you've got to feel bad for the people involved in this. Like, imagine spending months or even years developing a major project like this, only to get told at the 11th hour that the whole thing is going to get erased quicker than an unpopular Soviet citizen, and all your hard work was for fucking nothing. It's
Admittedly, I agree with everything he's saying so far. So far, he's being pretty based. So, good on you, drinker. You're being very based right now.
a bit like taking the mountain to Mohammed, only to find out that he's already got a bigger one. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was always going to be a tough sell from a floundering studio that doesn't seem to know what to do with its awesome lineup of characters. Yet another female-centric superhero flick from a company with a spotty track record for this kind of thing, featuring a race swap.
Oh, okay. Before we get into this little critique, what he just said about the female character track record, a spotty track record. No, they don't have a spotty track record. Drinker, Wonder Woman came out what 5 years ago. It was a hit, a huge hit, a fantastically huge hit. Now Wonder Woman '84 was pretty bad. I don't think it's all awful. I think it's still enjoyable, but it's oof. There's some not only massive plot holes in the movie, there are some fucked up character choices, including with Diana herself being a rapist, basically. That's gross as hell. And the Maxwell Lord subplot is just goofy as hell. But that's two movies. One was a hit. One was most certainly not a hit. Also, keep in mind it was released still during the pandemic, so I don't know how much it tracks. It's kind of weird to say they have a spotty track record with female comic book movies when, like, this is 2022, not 2005. If 2005, you could bring up Catwoman. That was, like, a lifetime ago, dude. At the very least, they made at least one great female superhero movie in Wonder Woman. And fuck it, I like Birds of Prey, too. I know it wasn't a hit, but I thought it was fantastic. I know he's going to talk about Birds of Prey, but I'm just going to bring it up now. I like Birds of Prey a lot. The only thing I didn't like was Roman Sionis. I thought he kind of sucked. He didn't feel like Black Mass to me at all. But anyway.
Protagonist and some weird multiversal plot device that felt like a cheap excuse to get Michael Keaton back as Bruce Wayne.
Okay. Gender swapped character. These, like, race. I don't care if you want to change the race of a character. Who cares about that? Like, what does it matter? She's the daughter of Barbara. She's the daughter of Batgirl's originally the daughter of Gordon. So if Gordon's black, his daughter would be black. What's the big deal? And well, what does it really matter? Like, the casting director should have a choice to cast who they want as an actor. And the multiverse thing. No, it was not a cheap plot to bring back Michael Keaton. You know this isn't true because Zack Snyder was planning to do multiverse movies long before Doctor Strange was even thinking about doing them. Long before Marvel was thinking about doing them. Yeah, in the comics, sure, but in the movies, no, that wasn't the plan. They were thinking about doing them all the time. So it's not like this is some half-cooked scheme to bring back Michael Keaton. It was planned. It was the idea. Just how it executed, not so well. And, you know, DC bullshit.
And I imagine the poor test screenings didn't exactly help convince the studio that they had a major hit on their hands. But if the rumours that I've heard are true, it actually scored higher than Black Adam and Shazam 2. Jesus, they're really fucked in that case. But even if it didn't test well, you've got to ask yourself, how bad does a film really need to be that the studio would rather pull the plug on the whole thing and lose tens of millions of dollars rather than just recut it and try to salvage something halfway decent? And keep in mind, this is the same studio that reckoned Birds of Prey, Justice League, and Wonder Woman 1984 were fit for human consumption.
Okay. Gonna answer all those. Justice League sucks. Not a good movie. I do enjoy parts of it, but oof, it's so bad. That was the thing, like you just said, they released it. They cut it themselves and got Josh Whedon, that piece of shit, to do editing and stuff. That was them trying to seize control. Of course they were going to release it after that. They're not going to just hire Josh Whedon and fire Zack Snyder like the assholes that they are and then not actually show the final product. They're gonna do that. At least try to compensate themselves. Wonder Woman 84. Yeah, kind of already talked about that. It was a bomb, but it's a sequel to a movie that made a lot of money. Why wouldn't they release it? Even if they knew it was terrible, like they had to figure, well, at least people are gonna come to see it just because of Wonder Woman. That's probably the exact thinking. I'm not saying it's a good movie. I'm saying that was their reasoning exactly there. And what was it? Birds of Prey. I like Birds of Prey. Well, what's wrong with Birds of Prey? I really don't get it. I don't understand what's wrong with it, other than Roman saying he's a pretty crappy villain. I don't think he's made to be like Zaz's a better villain than him, even if he's a dumbass. He works better with the sinister feelings. Black Mask in that movie just feels like he's cosplaying as a villain. Doesn't feel like the real villain. He doesn't feel threatening or intimidating at all, really. He feels more like a child throwing tantrums. He is an interesting character, just not as a villain. Like, if it would have been revealed that Zaza was a true mastermind and he was just the patsy or something, that would have been great, but nope. But anyway, never mind that. We dissected the movie. But that's your answer. That's why I don't really get your point. Birds of Prey to me was okay. I thought it was a good movie. And Wonder Woman was a sequel, so of course they're going to release it. Just a leak they recut, so of course they're going to do it.
I mean, shit, man, you could even have released it direct to streaming and still recouped some of your losses.
That was actually the original plan.
I'd rather make back $10 million than $0.
Same.
Not a great plan.
That's true.
Batgirl isn't the only movie to get shit canned. At the time of making this video, the rumour is that Supergirl's also on the chopping block. Two female-centric superhero movies featuring race-swap protagonists that happen to get unceremoniously cancelled at the same time. Whatever could be the connection here, I wonder? Well, buckle up, dear viewer.
Except Supergirl's not confirmed canceled yet. You just said it's rumored to be. It's like Dave Meltzer making some outlandish statement. Like, at least have your source, man.
Because we're about to venture into the murky world of corporate politics. The connection in this case is David Zaslav, the head of Warner Brothers
that guy.
Discovery, the new company that was created after AT&T dropped Warner Brothers like a big steaming turd because it was losing money hand over fist, and Discovery bought it up instead. With the takeover came a new leadership team under Zaslav and a new objective: to somehow unfuck the gigantic mess that DC on film has become. And holy shit, this guy doesn't mess around. Right?
Gigantic mess. Need to remind you, we're in 2022. The Batman was released this year, and it did fantastically well. I know it's not part of the DCEU thing or whatever, but that's still a hit. It made a lot of money, and people were talking about it. That's not a mess. The Suicide Squad didn't make that much money, but it also, a lot of people seem to like it. Doesn't seem like much of a mess to me. Like, what's the other? Even before that, like Shazam and Aquaman did. Like, okay, let's look at the last few years of movies. Of course, we have to account for pandemic stuff, but before, like almost pre-pandemic, you had Aquaman, you had Shazam. They did fantastically well. They both made a lot of money, and nobody in their right mind would have thought a decade ago Aquaman movie could make any money. It did, and it's great. Aquaman's lovely. Shazam's lovely. And then you have really only Birds of Prey and Wonder Woman 84 that have some kind of negative connotation to them and didn't make money. With one of them released during a pandemic, so they can at least fault that. And the Suicide Squad, which was also still released when people were kind of antsy about going to theaters, but it's pretty well received by people. So that's free movies, and also free movies that basically are seen as bad and free that are seen as good. Doesn't seem like it's that much of a mess.
Off the bat, he fired a bunch of senior executives from the old regime. Encouraged them to step down of their own free will.
I like that
he's
little
turned
joke.
his attention to the films that they were making. See, this isn't the first time that Warner have course-corrected like this. In the wake of the failed Snyderverse, the film division was reorganized under Walter Hamada, and his genius strategy was to basically do whatever was popular at the time. And what was popular at the time was diversity, female empowerment, and representation. And rather than try to work those things into his movies with skill and...
No, he didn't do any of that. What are you talking about? Wonder Woman was always planned. Even the Harley Quinn and Joker movie was planned that became Birds of Prey. Hamada didn't do all of that. And also, that's like a total of 2 movies with female characters that are main protagonists. You are really reaching here, drinker. Really. You were way too drunk. Go home, drinker. You're drunk.
Intelligence and patience, Warner Brothers instead decided to just straight up replace popular characters played by problematic white men with more diverse alternatives.
How are Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck problematic? Problematic. Did I miss something? Did they do something I'm not aware of? I thought they're pretty average, normal dudes that are actors and ridiculously good looking and pretty shredded and get pretty hot girlfriends and probably could get hot boyfriends too if they wanted, but that's neither here nor there. Like, what do you mean? How are they replaced? Saying they replaced is ridiculous. They didn't want to make a Superman sequel, from what I can tell. There was years. I mean, we're now like 9 years removed from Man of Steel, and about 5 years removed from the original Justice League. And the Batman, they just released a Batman movie with a dude playing Batman, drinker, this year. I don't know how you can make reaches like this. This is like, you mentioned Mr. Fantastic. This is like Mr. Fantastic reaching.
That's how we ended up with race-swapped Barbara Gordon replacing Batman, and race-swapped Kara Zor-El replacing Superman.
She's not replacing Batman. There's literally a Batman movie that came out this year. Do you not know who Robert Pattinson is? Fuck's sake, dude. Like, do you even know the things you're talking about? This is getting ridiculous. And as far as race swap Supergirl, okay, who cares? There's been a race swap Superman too. Kelvin Ellis, I think it is, or Kellen Ellis. Like, he talks about multiverses, but he seems to miss the fact that multiverses are a thing in most comics for like 40 years now, and they have multiple different versions of superheroes. It's not a big deal at all. Also, what does he mean this was a trend at the time? They didn't even make a Black Widow movie until 2021. Well, they totally made it earlier, but they didn't want to make it in phase 2 or 3. They want to make it like in phase 4, I think.
Superman, not to mention female-centric movies like Birds of Prey and Wonder Woman 1984. Unfortunately,
again, 84 was a sequel to Wonder Woman, which was a huge hit. Of course they're going to make another one. Unless the actress doesn't want to do it or something, or they have some, like somebody cancels the movie outright. They usually make sequels to big movies. That's been a thing since basically the dawn of cinema. And Birds of Prey, yeah, that's one movie, one female-centric movie. You listed one movie and one sequel. Congratulations. And 2 movies that have just been canceled. That one is a race-swapped and gender-swapped Batman. It's probably us having a Batman this year who was a man. So I don't even get your point. And technically, Snyderverse released a year ago. The Snyder cut of the Justice League released a year ago, which had Superman played by Henry Cavill. So you also had a Superman movie pretty recently with Superman, and you have the Superman Lower show if you want to go to TV. Like, there's multiple Supermans running around. You can choose any of them. You don't have to watch Supergirl. I mean, that the movie, that show, whatever. You know what I mean? You can choose not to pay attention to it. My point. If it's probably not consistent out, but you know what I mean.
The direction didn't exactly pan out the way the studio imagined. The latter 2 movies were gigantic turds that lost Warner Brothers a shit ton of money, and as for the others, well, I think it's fair to say that after nearly a decade of having the message shoved down our throats.
Again, what are you talking about? What message? Look, let's look at this bullshit here. We are like nearly 5 minutes in. This man is making so little sense. He's went from making sense in the first 2 minutes to making 0 sense the next 2. What is going on with this man?
After nearly a decade of having the...
Okay, social justice. What do you think superheroes are? Drinker. Why? Dude, I'm seriously worried about you. Do you not think superheroes, especially the fucking Justice League, they have justice in their name? Do you not think they would want social justice? Do you not think that's what superheroism is? Being a superhero? Dude, like, seriously. I don't know what, this is like other language. What does that even mean? Wonder Woman can speak all those languages? What are you getting at? This dude actually, what is his point? Seriously. The message, there's also a rainbow there that's covered up that's supposed to be gay. What gay superheroes that we have, especially from DC? Harley Quinn, whose bisexuality is mentioned one time only in a cartoon before a movie. Who else do we have? Like, seriously, who do we have? Like, in Peacemaker, but we had to watch the show to find that out. And that was more James Gunn than, DC or Warner Brothers. This man is fucking tripping.
Message shoved down our throats. Audiences are getting a little bit tired of this shit. Simply race or gender swapping an existing character isn't going to earn you the kind of mindless applause that it used to.
They're not. How is it gender swapping Batman and Superman for Batgirl and Supergirl? They're different characters, you jabroni. My god, this man is stupid as shit. There's been a Supergirl show that just recently ended, like I think last year, that was on for like 8 years. There was a Supergirl movie in the 80s. Supergirl's comics have existed Not as long as Superman's, but a very long time. Longer than this dude and me have probably been alive. Not combined, but still. And Batgirl has literally been a character in games and cartoons and like everything. Like, well, let's pan over here. See my Batman anime series there? She's a character in that. This dude is that came out in 1993. This it did in 2000. This dude is just tripping. They are not. This Barbara Gordon is not Bruce Wayne, and Cora Zor-El is not, or Kara El is not Clark Kent or Jor-El. Yeah, Kal-El. That's what Jor-El. Like, what is this man literally talking about? Also, why do you care so much about race? Who cares what race they are? Like, you've had a million white Superman. What do you care? And a million white white Batman. I'm gonna say a million white Batman. What do you care if there's a black Batman or black girl or black Superman? It doesn't even matter, dude. It's not like it's the fucking Bible. And even then, Jesus should be black anyway. But get my fucking point. Like, these are stories made by people. You can, yeah. We've had Bugs Bunny as Batman before. Who cares? Why do you care so much? If in one adaptation, oh, he's not a white dude. Like, go cry about it, drinker. Jesus.
Pushing identity politics into stories where it doesn't belong, or presuming to lecture your audience on how they need to live their lives, is increasingly causing them to vote with their wallets.
How are they lecturing people on how they're supposed to live their lives? Like, what are you even talking about, dude? Like, the only one I can think of recently that had, like, well, because Wonder Woman's saying people probably shouldn't have war in the first movie, and the second movie that we should learn to be, I don't know, to stop wanting what we want. The second movie's the best, okay? But I'm trying to get where he's going with this. Birds of Prey doesn't have any kind of message in that, maybe, other than we can work together to take down a bad guy. It's the movie of people trying to take down two bad characters that are despicable, and they all have grudges with. Shazam is kind of has a diversity message of like the idea of family and the need for family, and it's pretty dark for a movie that is very lighthearted too, but it doesn't really shove it down your throat. It's part of character's development. I don't know which movies this dude's talking about. Like, is this really weird? Does he even watch the same DC movies that we do? Does he get some weird cuts from Earth 7 or something? I kind of like to see those. Hey, Drinker, tell us about those. Show them to us, man. Give us the hard drive. What are you talking about?
Zaslav knows this, and that's why he killed Batgirl and probably Supergirl too, because they're both irrevocably tainted with the same stain. Of course, he also knows that he can't publicly criticize the message without incurring the wrath of the people who...
You are using a person's gift from Trump's inauguration from 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago now, bearing in mind that Trump filling the Supreme Court with his shitty fucking misogynistic pieces of shits is how Roe v. Wade got overturned, you stupid, drunk Scotsman sack of crap. Now you piss me off. Fuck you. Fuck you and every idiot who keeps using this gift of this person. Screaming, it's over, it's done. You owe money to them. You should go pay them some of your money, you drunk, stupid motherfucker. You go on the San Diego Con asshole. Pay them money, you bastard.
Push it so hard. So instead, it was easier to make the excuse that the film is just plain shit, and that's why he's cancelling it. I mean, maybe it actually is shit too, but let's be real here. Warner's never had a problem with putting out terrible comic book movies before.
He's right.
So why start now? I mean, it's not like their other upcoming films are going to set the world on fire either. Aquaman 2 is saddled with the world's least appealing actress in a major supporting role, who's pretty much become box office poison at this point.
Yeah, if you don't listen to the actual evidence that's just been uncovered that Johnny Depp was lying about that shit, or if you actually pay attention to the trial and know that he admitted things like headbutting her and assaulted her or other shit. But sure, Drinker, sure, yeah, sure. I guess cognitive dissonance is not your thing, huh?
The only way to possibly salvage this film is to completely recast her, which would need extensive reshoots and re-edits, all of which cost a lot of money. It's the same problem with The Flash. Ezra Miller is the PR equivalent of a drunken man driving a battle tank through an antique store, but again, it would be so difficult and expensive to recast the main actor at this point that you'd be better off scrapping the entire film and starting again. And it's not like Warner Brothers have another $200 million just...
You're right about The Flash, I'll give you that.
Flying around doing nothing. Instead, they're doing the only reasonable thing that they can by cancelling the films that are cheap enough to kill outright. And
I noticed you didn't mention Aquaman or Black Adam or Shazam 2 there, buddy. Oh no, you didn't mention Aquaman, I'm stupid. You didn't mention Shazam or Black Adam. Kind of weird. Kind of weird not mention those. Those look like pretty good ass movies. How dare you bet against The Rock? I wonder, does he think do you think that Drinker thinks Black Adam is pushing some kind of message or even Shazam. I don't know. This dude is weird.
Some damage control to the other ones. If Amber Heard somehow doesn't get removed, I'd expect her role to be cut down to the bare minimum in the finished product. And as for Ezra, well, I wouldn't expect to see him in many more DC films after this, that's for sure. That's the short-term picture with stuff that's already in the pipeline. But what's more interesting here are the larger implications of this change. Put simply, this is a wake-up call, not just at Warner, but in Hollywood at large. It's an acknowledgement that what they've been doing isn't working.
Oh, this is going to get more funny when I say the end of
when
this.
the chips are down, the industry follows money more than it ever followed any ideology. Ultimately, the message
What
is the kind of luxury
ideology?
that you can only
What
indulge
are
in
you
when you're
talking
making money
about?
hand over fist. Because the more you try to push it, the more people you end up pushing away.
What
That's why
message?
Disney's been peddling this garbage so hard over the past several years, because up until recently at least, they could afford to do it. Warner can't, and with Zaslav on board, I think they've finally begun to acknowledge that. You'd be amazed how quickly ideology falls by the wayside once the money runs out, especially in a town where people routinely lie for a living, have all the integrity of a crooked politician, and only pretend to support current thing as long as current thing stays popular. And the simple fact is that now it isn't.
Like you supporting this weird bullshit that doesn't even make sense, and you haven't even bothered to explain what you even mean. It doesn't even fit on the very thing you're talking about. Kind of like that, like you don't believe in any of it. Yeah, I noticed, drinker.
Now it's time to stop fucking around, jettison the dead weight, and get things back on track. So I guess what I'm saying with all this is that while Batgirl may have fallen victim to corporate politics rather than bad production, I think the longer term implications might be positive ones. Warner Brothers may be the first domino to fall, but something tells me they won't be the last. And when other companies realise that you can safely drop the message and the people peddling it, well, the next year or two could turn out to be very interesting. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Go away now.
No, I mean yes, but no. Okay, this is what's funny about all this. All this weird shit he's saying. He didn't say the word woke, but you know that's what he's going for. Even though he doesn't even know what the hell he's talking about, right? What is woke to this guy? Having a character that's black, having a character that is a woman? Like, what the fuck is he talking about? What message? He doesn't even explain. Oh, the message is unity. You mean like a Justice League movie, a movie about superheroes coming together, or like literally every team up movie ever? But it's funny him saying all this shit, right? And then how he immediately went from like being shocked, oh, Batgirl was canceled. I feel so bad for the creators. This is horrible. Oh, they could have made money. They're so stupid. To all immediately kissing David Zaslav's ass before the thing was over. But what's funny, Warner Brothers has lost a lot of money in the stock market the last few weeks, which I've seen. Basically looking at Twitter. That's hilarious. They fucked over more people too, and more shit from HBO Max. So fuck them. But anyway. Like, it's funny you say, like, oh, this is their way of sticking it to the message. And, like, well, guess what? The message is that people don't want your shit, Warner Brothers, because you're run by an asshole who will basically cut anything with little notice, if any notice at all, to the creators even, much less the fans, and say, fuck everybody. We got money to be made. But anyway, and we'll keep making movies with a criminal. Because fuck you, that's why. Then again, what I expect from the same company that keeps making Fantastic Beast movies, which has a criminal and written by a turf, and formerly had another criminal in it. How fun. Anyway, that's my update. This sucked, but it wasn't terrible. He's dumb, but like, and mostly just laughing how dumb his thing is, the message. What message, man? At this point, I'm thinking he's talking about Grandmaster Flash's song, The Message. That's the only thing I think he could be talking about. Which, yeah, I don't know how these movies are pushing that, but certainly they do kind of push the idea not to be in jail and stuff, and how things are pushing you to the edge. You're trying to snap. But anyway, maybe I'll make this series. Maybe I'll watch either him or watch some. There's not a whole lot of people who used to watch. Clownfish TV was one. I don't really know if there'd even be a point to try to watch them. And I chose this one because it's something that I have paid a little attention to. So anyway, his video sucks. He's full of crap. The first 2 minutes are good, then everything else starts going to shit. Kind of like David Zaslav running Warner Brothers Discovery. Anyway, thanks for watching, and have a great day. And probably next time you see this, it'll be on another phone or tablet. This might be the last one on the football phone, so into there maybe. Bye.